Greetings, greetings, greetings. Uh-oh, what's going on? There we go. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Or should I say Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Greetings, everyone. Today is December 6th, 2025. That's December 6th, 2025. And this is the Sabbath day, which is the Sabbath assembly of the righteous. This is where we come together as being righteous under the Creator's word and keeping his laws. Today is the Sabbath day, which is the seventh day of the week. It's the day that he told us to come together and have a holy convocation, which is what we're coming together to do, whether it's with you and your family or just us coming together as a group in his name, which is in his laws. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to start off with the prayer. We're going to go into the laws, which is the 10 Commandments, which is in the Exodus chapter 20. Then right after that, we're going to go into the reason why we have prophets, and then we're going to go into the day's conversation. Excuse me, which is 2 Samuel. We just talked about that. Which is 2 Samuel, chapter 14. 2 Samuel chapter 14 is what we're going into today. And don't forget, today again is December 6th, 2025. And let's get ready to start up with the prayer. Blessed be thou, Father of the universe, that bring forth all living creatures forth from the earth. Blessed be thou, Father of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Blessed be the Father of Israel. Blessed be the Father of 12 tribes of Israel. Thank you, Father, for all you've done, been doing, and plan to do. We ask you to keep giving us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, life, health, and strength, food, shelter, and clothing. Let us be happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, and prosperous in all that we do. We ask you to keep leading and guiding us so we can help leading and guiding others in your knowledge, your word, your ruach, and your way. We also ask you, Father, to keep your arm protection on us and keep us in every way, and let's retain the knowledge you have given us through your vessel, through your word, and through your prophets. We ask you to help us in every way, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, financial, or spiritual. And all these things we pray. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Thank you, Father. Father, praise you Almighty. All righty. So right now we're going to get started in the 10 Commandments, which is actually in Exodus chapter 20. 20, starting at the first verse. Exodus 20:1 states, and Yah spake all these words, and Yah spake all these words, saying, I am Yah your father, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other deities, which is gods, before me. Verse 4, second commandment. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yah thy father, am a jealous father, visiting the iniquity, which is the ignorance of the fathers, which is the parents, upon the children, unto the third, which is the Greek, and the fourth, which is the Roman generation, unto them that generation of them that hate me. Excuse me. Yeah, we just said that. And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Third commandment. Thou shalt not take the name of Yah thy father in vain, for Yah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Fourth commandment, remember the Sabbath day to keep it hallowed, which is holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yah thy father. In it thou shalt not do any work. Thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. The fifth commandment, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yah thy father giveth thee. Sixth commandment, excuse me, thou should not murder. And though it says thou should not kill, it's really thou should not murder. Because when you murder someone, you're taking a life without a cause. Seventh commandment, thou should not commit adultery, meaning that no woman should not lay down with another man if she has a man that she's with, and no man should not be laying down with other men's women. That's just it. Eighth commandment, thou shalt not steal. Ninth commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, which attorneys, lawyers, and prosecutors do all the time. And 10th and last commandment, verse 17, excuse me, verse 17, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Thank you, Father. And then we're going into the reason why we have prophets, which is right after 17th verse, after the 10th commandment. In verse 18, it says, all the people saw the thundering and the lightnings and the mountain smoking, and when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not Yah speak with us, lest we die. That's what the people actually said. Verse 20. And Moses said unto the people, fear not, for Yah is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before you, before your faces. I'm sorry. But his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. 21. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where Yah was. I don't have my glass cleaner up here. Oh, next best thing. My baby left this up here though. Also want to thank Joanne and my sister and brother, Sister Bev and my brother Cass for being online today. I didn't say anything coming in, but I'd like to thank them and my baby Joanne for being on at the moment. I did come in a little late, but I just try to get started, jump right into the queue so we can get started on point. Still. So let's see how this do. Does this look a little better? We probably need some thicker paper. Yeah, that looks a little better. All right. So as we just got through from 18 to 21 in Exodus chapter 21, which is actually understanding when the people got scared, they stood afar off. And here in Deuteronomy chapter 18, starting at verse 15, it says, and Yah thy father will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee, of thy brethren. Like unto thee, Moses, unto him ye shall hearken, according to all that thou desire of Yah thy father in Horeb in the day of the assembly, saying, let me not hear again the voice of Yah my father, neither let me see this great fire anymore, that I die not. Remember, they just said that in verse 19 a few moments ago in Exodus, right after the commandments. In verse 17 here says, and Yah said unto me, they have well spoken that which they have spoken. I will raise them up. I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren, like unto thee, and will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I command him. 19. And it shall come to pass, it shall come to pass, that means this prophecy. It shall come to pass that whosoever will not hearken unto my words, which is people, this is what people fail to realize. He said, my words, which which is the prophet, shall speak in my name, thus says the Lord, I will require it of him. But the prophet which shall presume to speak a word in my name, which I have not commanded him to speak, nor that shall speak in the name of other, or that shall speak in the name of other gods, even that prophet shall die. And if thou say in thine heart, how shall we know the word which Yah have not spoken? When a prophet speaketh in the name of Yah, if the thing follow not, nor come to pass, that is the thing which Yah have not spoken. But the prophet has spoken it presumptuously. Thou shalt not be afraid of him. All right. That's the end of the law that we're supposed to read every Sabbath, and the end of the reason why we have prophets, and who to be scared of and who not to be scared of. All right. So now, excuse me, y'all. Feel like I'm gonna go lay down some more. Right now, we're at today's information, however you want to call it. We're in chapter 14, 2 Samuel chapter 14. We're in 2 Samuel chapter 14. Got our other sister coming in from the UK. Liana. I can't get it correct. I get it correct sooner or later. But we're in 2 Samuel chapter 14, and I would like to give a recap before we go into the next chapter. And what I like to recap on is this: that greetings, sis. Glad you can make it with us this beautiful Sabbath day. Right here, if we do a recap on 2 Samuel chapter 13 of last week, this when Ammon raped, might as well say, Absalom's sister. Last week, this is what we read in 2 Samuel chapter 13. Ammon, which is actually her, I believe it was her cousin. Let me see. And it came to pass after this that Absalom, the son of David, this is the beginning of 13, had a fair sister whose name was Tamar. And Ammon, the son of David, see, that was her, that was his sister. That was his sister from another mother. That was his sister from another mother. Tamar and Absalom was sister and brother. Ammon was the son of David as well, and he loved Tamar. So you had a slickster, which was a cousin, which was Jonadab. Said, but Ammon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shemiah, David's brother. So that was their cousin. And he told him how to go about getting her to get there with him. And that's when Ammon raped her, and then he hated her more than he thought he loved her because he was infatuated with her. So he took her virginity, then he put her out. So now, after this happened, Absalom had a feast, but he waited. He waited a few years. When was this? There was a point in here. It was 2 years later, I believe it was. Let me see what it was over here. Okay, here 22 in 2 Samuel 13, 21 and 22, it says, but when King David heard of all these things, 21, heard of all these things, he was very wroth. And Absalom spake unto his brother Amnon, neither good or bad, for Absalom hated Amnon because he forced his sister Tamar, which he raped her. And it came to pass after 2 full years that Absalom had a sheep shearers and in Baal Hazor, which is beside Ephraim, and Absalom invited all the king's sons. So what Absalom did, excuse me, y'all. What Absalom did is, after 2 years after the situation, knowing what his other brother did, what his brother did, he didn't say nothing good or bad to him. He just talked to him like nothing happened. And 2 years later, he set up a feast and he ended up killing um, Amnon. He killed Amnon, and David thought he killed all his siblings, but he didn't. Absalom didn't. So now, this is where we at. Now we're in chapter 14, 2 Samuel chapter 14. This is where we at, and I'm calling this Absalom's return, because at the end of this, in verse 36 through 39, in 36 says, and it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of speaking, that behold, the king's sons came and lifted up their voice and wept. And the king also, and all his servants wept very sore. 37. But Absalom fled and went to Talmai, the son of Ammihud, king of Geshur. And David mourned for his son every day. He mourned for Absalom every day. 38. So Absalom fled and went to Geshur and was there 3 years. 39 last verse. And the soul of King David longed to go forth to Absalom, for he was comforted concerning Amnon, seeing he was dead. He was comforted concerning Amnon, seeing he was dead. So David knew the situation. David knew what happened. End up knowing that Amnon was dead, but he probably understood why Absalom did what he did. I'm saying probably understood. Can't speak for him. That's just my point of view. Now, 2 Samuel chapter 14. Joab schemed for Absalom's return. This is Joab's schemes for Absalom's return. That's my heading on this. But we'll start it like this. Now, Joab, the son of Zeruiah, perceived that the king's heart was towards Absalom. He perceived that the king's heart was towards Absalom. And Joab sent to Tekoa, and fetched thence a wise woman, and said unto her, I pray thee, feign thyself to be a mourner. Feign thyself to be a mourner, and put on now mourning apparel, and anoint not thyself with oil, but be as a woman that have a long time mourned for her dead. Okay. Gotta look at this. You gotta see the keys on certain things. And Joab sent to Tekoa and fetched thence a wise woman. See, a wise woman, and said unto her, I pray thee, feign thyself to be a mourner, and put on now mourning apparel, and anoint not thyself. You see, it say, don't anoint yourself. So we was anointed all the time. That's the reason why a lot of our women like to be glowing. I've just seen this stuff that what's her name? Rihanna have. Rihanna got some stuff that say some stuff folks feel good, smell good, and they start putting their skin to have stuff to glow. A lot of our women and a lot of us, I see we anointed ourselves a lot at one time. And this is why we put oil on. And it's just a part of our culture, it's part of our nature. Right? Anoint not thyself with oil, but be as a woman that had a long time mourned for the dead. 3. And come not to the king, and come to the king and speak on this matter unto him. So Joab put the words in her mouth. You see that? So this is what he did. Now you know something? You would think Joab loved David. And it was one point a couple of chapters back when right after Joab had David had Joab kill Uriah. Joab was taking the city, and as Joab was taking the city, he said he could call home to David. He told David, "Now you come and take the city, or they're gonna call the city after my name." So it seemed Joab had respect for David. You got to understand stories. That's the reason why we go through this, to understand the stories, not only for the history of the stories in that time, but for the things that's going on today as well. But if you look at what happened, he had respect for David. David was the king. He had respect for him, from what I see. And right here, what he's doing is that he's seeing that he perceived. It said now Joab, the son of Zeruiah, perceived that king's heart was towards Absalom. So he seen that his heart was toward him, that he was mourning for him. That's why he had this woman do this. Verse 4, and put the words in her mouth. Verse 4. And when the woman of Tekoa spake unto King David, unto the king, she fell on her face to the ground, and did abstinence, repent for 9 abstinence. Obstinate, that right there. That word right there, what I woke up saying. And did abstinence and said, McCrean. Oh, excuse me, y'all. He's around here somewhere. My green highlighter. This one did. There you go, right there. Still stuck in 2 Timothy, chapter 3. Abstinence. And he puts the words in her mouth. Keys. I like hitting keys. You know what I'm saying? Just in case I have to come back. And said, help, O king, for again. And when the woman of Tekoa spake unto the king, matter of fact, let me get these places. I'm on my way. I'm slipping today. And Joab, the son of Zeruiah, received the king was okay. And Joab sent to Tekoa. All right, just make sure I get some of these places. I like to get these places because you never know what'll come up, and the reason why has come back and hit me right in the face. Spake to the king, and she fell on her face to the ground and did obstinance and said, help, O king. And the king said unto her, what? We'll say, what aileth thee? What aileth thee? My great grandmother used to say that. What aileth you, boy? What aileth? What aileth? What aileth thee? What's wrong with you? And she answered, I am in need. I am indeed a widow woman, and mine husband is dead. And thy handmaid had 2 sons, and they two strove together in the field, and there was none to part them. But the one smote the other and slew him. Man. And behold, the whole family is risen against thine handmaid. And they said, deliver him. And they said, deliver him that smote his brother, that we may kill him, for the life of his brother whom he slew. And we will destroy her, we destroy the heir also. And so they shall quench my coal which is left. So they shall quench my coal which is left, and shall not leave to my husband neither name nor remainder upon the earth. Kind of see what he gave her to say. All this is what she's saying. from Joab. And the king said unto the woman, go to thine house, and I will give charge concerning thee. And the woman of Tekoa said unto the king, my lord, O king, the iniquity be on me and on my father's house. Excuse me, y'all. And the king and his throne be guiltless. And the king said, whosoever saith aught unto thee, bring him to me, and he shall not touch thee any more. Let me get this together. Let me try to put these words together, y'all. I gotta make sure I say this right. Excuse me. Verse 8. And the king said unto the woman, go to thine house, and I will give charge concerning thee. I will give charge concerning you. 9. And the woman of Tekoa said unto the king, my lord, O king, the iniquity be on me and on my father's house, and the king's and his throne be guiltless. Verse 10. And the king said, whosoever saith aught unto thee, bring him to me, and he shall not touch thee any more. 11. Then said she, I pray thee, let the king remember the Lord, remember Yah thy father, that thou wouldest not suffer the revengers of blood to destroy any more. The revengers of blood to destroy any more, lest they destroy my son. And he said, as Yah liveth, there shall not be one hair of thy son fall to the earth. Okay. 12. Then the woman said, let thine handmaid, I pray thee, speak one word unto my lord the king. And he said, say on. And the woman said, wherefore then hast thou aught such a thing against the people of Yah? For the king doeth speak of this thing as one which is faulty, in that the king doeth not fetch home again his banished. Okay. This the setup. This the setup. This what Joab did. 12 again. Then the woman said, let thine handmaid, I pray thee, speak one word unto my lord, the king. And he said, say on. And the woman said, wherefore then hast thou aught such thing against the people of Yah? For the king doeth speak this thing as one which is faulty. You are like you in fault. In that the king doeth not fetch home again his banished. Let me ask y'all a question for y'all who've been following me and been reading along with me. Let me go ahead and mark this down right now, because this right here is the key. And the woman said again, wherefore hast thou, this 13. This is the key. I'm putting my key in green. I should have it in blue. Thou such thing against the people of Yah. For the king doeth speak unto. I'm going to share with you why I'm sharing this in a few seconds. See, when you follow the stories, you can see what's going on and understand. See, even at the beginning of here, at the end of 13, when it says, and the soul of King David longed to go forth unto Absalom, for he was comforted concerning Amnon, seeing he was dead. He was comforted because of that, right? But he felt sorry. And then right here in verse 1 of 14, now Joab, the son of Zehura, perceived that the king's heart was toward Absalom. The whole thing on this whole situation at verse 13 right here. And the woman said, wherefore then hast thou thought such a thing against the people of Yah? For the king doeth speak this thing as one which is faulty. You speak this as you at fault. In the king's say, in that the king doeth not fetch him home, set again his home, fetch home again his banish. For we must needs die and are as water split on the ground, which cannot be gathered up. Mainly what's going on, Joab recognizing you ain't doing your thing as a king. You sit up here acting sorry and whatever because Absalom had killed his brother and he ran. You feeling sorry for him. But see, you got to remember, when the punishment, as I shared a couple of weeks ago, the punishment of the prophecy of the punishment of David. On the prophecy of the punishment of David, after David had Uriah's wife, he took his wife, number one, he had her brought to him. He hadn't committed a sin yet. First, I'm going to lay this out. He saw Bathsheba, saw her bathing naked, fine, whatever. She was fine, had a bad body, whatever. She was fine to look upon, and he lusted after at that point. He didn't sin. He had them to go get her. Had some people go get her and say, King David would like to see you. She came to see the king. He didn't sin. The sin was when he laid with her because he knew she was a man's woman. The act is what I keep trying to share with everyone. The act was the sin. It wasn't if you think on a woman and have there's lust in your mind, you've already sinned. That's not a sin. A sin is the action. You have to do something to sin. No different, as I shared once before, when you do a crime, it's an action. The stuff they're doing today is false and it's fraud. They're doing out here to people in the streets, giving people tickets and citations that hasn't hurt no one, harmed no one, or damaged anyone's property. That's fraud. When you hurt someone, harm someone, or damage someone's property, that's a crime. No different than here. When David lay with Bathsheba, that was the crime. That was the crime because, number one, he committed idolatry, which is adultery. Then he sent her home. I'm giving you the story to understand the reason why, for people who may not know where we're at right now in the understanding. He sent her home. She found out she was pregnant while Uriah out there battling in the field because of the Philistines or no, it was the Amalekites at the time, I believe it was. It was either one of the two. But the point is, he had Joab to bring Uriah home. Uriah had come to see him. Uriah came to see him. They had a conversation. He befriended him, like some people do. He befriended him, didn't try to send him home. He didn't go home. He stayed right there in David's chambers in the castle with his people. David found out he didn't go home. Had him come back up, got him drunk and everything next day. Tried to send him home again. He didn't go home again. So now he wrote a letter out to him. Okay, take this to Joab. And he took the letter to Joab. Now Joab's still in the dark. A lot of people think Joab was a part of this. Joab's in the dark. He just knew that he got a letter that put him in the line that he died. He said, okay, let me put him in the front line, so he put him up in the front line to where, he ended up dying. I ain't gonna say on his part of them, but he ended up dying. Then Joab sent a letter back, let him know what happened and what's going on with the situation at hand. That happened. Now, David got rid of him. The wife mourned after she found out her husband died. After her mourning, which was a process of time, he took her in to be his wife. He took a man's woman in to be his wife. That was after the process of time. Now, after that, we don't know if the baby came or not at this time. But the point is, after this time, Nathan came and gave David a prophecy and told him The prophecy, which was in, I think it was 11, 12. Yeah, in 12. Chapter 12, Nathan gave him the prophecy of what he did undercover. No different than this right here, the way Joab tried to do. But see, David already up on what was going on because he didn't heard, or this almost sounded like what Nathan told him, almost. So now, excuse me, I was leaning a little hot. So now he got a prophecy. Now, the reason why David is feeling this way because it's still in David's mind. Anybody know when you get something from the Father, put this back on a little bit. Man, that cold just started coming on me like up here where I'm at. So so now David is you got to understand when the Father gives you something, it's gonna stay on your mind. That's how you know that you are the Father. A lot of people, the voice of consciousness that has left them because they don't listen. The voice of consciousness, if y'all know what I'm talking about, the voice of reason. When the conscious when you think about doing one thing, your conscious or your voice or the spirit within you tell you one thing and you go against it. I've done it a few times, not proud of it, but I've done it a few times. Just I did this because the same thing, but it wasn't loud. It was just like in my intuition. Sure, I should go ahead and put some gloves on, but no, I'm going to try. I'm talking to myself. Well, I'll go ahead and do this real quick. Cut my tendon. Why? Because I didn't listen to myself to put gloves on in that split moment. It didn't say it loud, but just intuition, like, man, I should put some gloves on. But I didn't think about putting gloves on. Taught me to do better. But same situation at this point. Same situation at this point. It's on David's mind now. So now he feel guilty that Absalom is gone because it's still a part of his prophecy that was told to him about his punishment. His punishment. The situation with this happened, I believe, is because of his punishment. Now, whatever Amnon did to love her like he did, or infatuate with her for him to take her, and then for all this to start up, it's because of it. And you have to have a start of everything. That's why I try to get people to understand. There's a cause to an effect. Every effect has a cause, and every cause has an effect. There's a beginning to it for a reason. And that reason was because of the Creator told David. From this point, I ain't gonna say it the way because Nathan once said it correctly. I don't know if he said it correctly. If I might say it correctly or not. I don't want to say it wrong. But I think he's supposed to have problems. War. I ain't gonna say wars, but he said he's gonna have wars or something like that. He said, "Now therefore the sword." There you go, right here, verse 10. Samuel, 2 Samuel 12 and 10, it says, now therefore shall the sword that now therefore the sword shall never depart from thine house. You see that? There you go, right there. Now, this is the Creator talking to David. Now, therefore, the sword should never depart from thine house, because thou hast despised me and hast taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be thy wife. Thus said Yah, behold, I will raise up evil against thee out of thine own house. You see that? That's verse 11. And I will take thy wives before thee, before thine eyes, and give them unto thy neighbor, and he shall lie with thy wives in the sight of the sun, for thou didst secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and before all the sons. That right there goes to show you that I don't care how close and how special you think you are, you will still get whooped by the Creator. If you wrong, you get whooped. And people don't realize that. People do not realize that. If you wrong, you're going to get whooped. He don't have no favorites. But people don't realize that. But now let's get back to the story. And that's what's going on in his household. So he know whether he knew that Amnon, whether David knew that if Amnon raped Tamar, if he raped her or not, something went on, and Absalom killed him. Whatever. I don't know if David probably know, but he might not know. Who knows? But the point is, he longed for Absalom because he knew it was his fault that this situation happened. That's the point. Be accountable. That's why. But see, nobody knew. See, David was holding in. Joab even didn't know. All Joab knew is that he put Uriah on the line. A lot of people probably think Joab knew that David took his slept with his wife. He didn't know that. Joab didn't. The only one that knew that David slept with his wife was the ones that probably went and got her, the servants that went and got her, if they knew, and the Creator. Only David, the servants, and her knew. Now, when she got pregnant, only her and David knew. Or and the one that sent word, however he got, whoever sent the word between them two, or however the word got back to David when she got pregnant, only them two knew. Them three knew, shall I say, besides the Creator. Only them three knew. So we got to understand the stories as it is. When you see Joab, now he looking at David. He don't know David going through turmoil now because he had a man killed. He put a man in the front line where all Joab did what the king said do. Okay, he put him on the front line so he died. He probably knew that see, you got to understand the mind, and that's why I say I understand situations. Joab probably knew that, okay, he's a Hittite, or no, he was a Hittite. Joab probably knew he was a Hittite, no matter if he loved Israel or not. Put him on the front line that he died. Okay, whether he righteous or not, that ain't Joab's concern. Joab's concern is to do what the king said do. That's what a lot of these soldiers and stuff do today. If y'all notice that, whatever the commanding officer say, they got to do it. So all Joab knew was to put him on the front line, thinking, okay, he's a Hittite. You got to look at things at many different sides. And that's what I try to do. So you look at things at many different sides. I don't want to give no excuse, but I just look at things from different ways. That's all I'm saying. So now David gave him the authority to put Uriah on the front line so he can die. Plus, still give David the report of what's going on. Joab probably didn't know what was happening. All he knew, they put him on the front line because that was the letter that David gave him to give to him. Joab probably didn't know nothing about Bathsheba and the sex and her getting pregnant. Joab was out in the field. So now Joab up here wondering what's going on. You mourning for this guy that killed one of your sons, and see, Joab don't know. When you get further in the story, you're going to see something that Joab did to Absalom, still unaware, because everything isn't everybody's business. See what I'm saying? That's why things in the White House, even though Trump is trying to share, and I'm just giving you off the record, I give you understanding. Even though Trump is trying to share with the world what he's trying to do and give information, the people ain't ready. See, these bottom feeders not ready for it. They don't understand because they was hidden from the real information all the time because the ones in the political arena wasn't telling this to everybody. But what Trump is doing is what everybody's supposed to know, because Trump is supposed to be like the president, letting people know what's going on and giving you information. This is what Trump is actually doing. The people don't even understand it because they have been tricked and hidden from the real information for so long. They think what the politician was doing was right, not knowing what the politician was doing behind closed doors. Queen Elizabeth and everybody else with all these pedophiles and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. You look at the scriptures, you can see the difference between the scriptures and what's going on today. So, as you can see, Joab didn't know nothing. Only David knew, and what he did back here. But Joab did what he knew by putting that man out there on the front line. Still, Joab probably was saying in his mind, well, he's a Hittite. Just King David said, we supposed to got rid of him anyway. Put him on the front line. He didn't kill him himself. He let him fight with Israel till he passed. But then Creator punishing This is the start of David's punishment. I just gave you the clue in I think that was 12 and 10, 12, 10, and 11. 2 Samuel 12, verse 10 and 11, which is his point. It should not depart from his house. This is beginning, and David see what's going on. David see what's happening. That's why he's sitting back and he mourning, but he can't tell nobody. So he's eating it up. And if you look at it, David is eating this up on the inside. He can't tell nobody. He ain't really telling nobody about what he did or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Confess your faults one to another. Because when you hold it to yourself, it's going to eat you up. Sometimes you need somebody to confide in. And who knew how many friends David really had to talk to? The only person that he knew, which was the prophet that came to him to break it down and told him what happened. You did this. It's lonely at the top, as they say, huh? Verse 14. For we must needs die. Okay, let me start at 13 again. And the woman said, wherefore hast thou not up? And the woman said, wherefore then hast thou thought such a thing against the people of Yah? For the king doeth speak this thing as one which is faulty, in that the king doeth not fetch home his vanished. Hit 12 too. Then the woman said, handmaid pray, I speak one more word. Let me hit that too, so we can go into that. For we must needs die, and as water split on the ground, which cannot be gathered up. I mean, everything is being split up now. You're not paying attention to what's going on. The last part. For we must needs die, and are as water spit on the ground. Dang. You know how you spit water on the ground? And for we must die, and are as water spit on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again. Neither do of Yah respect any person. See that? Bam. That's where they got that no respect of a person from. You see that? This is where they got that no respect of a person from. Neither do of Yah. This is where they got this at in the New Testament. Neither do of Yah respect any person. God is no respecter of person. That's where this came from. I told you they get from the law and put in the New Testament. That's why the devil know the book too, which is the ones who wrote from it, who's not from. That's where they got that from. Neither do of Yah respect any person, yet do of he devise means that his banish be not expelled from him. Yet doeth he devise means that his banish be not expelled from him. 15. Now therefore that I am come to speak of this thing unto my Lord the king, it is because the people have made me afraid. And thy handmaid said, I will now speak unto the king. It may be that the king will perform the request of his handmaid. For the king will hear to deliver his handmaid out of the hand of the man that would destroy me and my son together out of the inheritance of Yah. 17. Then thine handmaid said, the word of my lord the king shall now be comfortable. The word of my lord the king shall now be comfortable. For as an angel of Yah, so is my lord the king to discern good and bad. Therefore, Yah thy father will be with thee. So I got there earlier. Then thy handmaid said, the word which my lord the king shall now be comfortable, for as an angel of Yah, so is my lord the king, to discern good and bad. Therefore, Yah thy father will be with thee. Verse 18. Then the king answered and said unto the woman, hide not from me, I pray thee, the thing that I shall ask thee. And the woman said, let my lord the king now speak. Check this out. And the king said, is not the hand of Joab with thee in all this? See how he caught that? Is not the hand of Joab with thee in all this? And the woman answered and said, is as my Lord liveth, my Lord the king, none can turn to the right hand or to the left from aught that my Lord the king has spoken. For thy servant Joab, he bade me, and he put all these words in my mouth of thine hand, in the mouth of thine handmaid, to fetch about this form, from speech that thy servant Joab done this thing. And my Lord is wise according to the wisdom of the angel of Yah to know all things that are in the earth. So when he's saying is, you smart enough to you caught that quick. 18 again. Then the king answered and said unto the woman, hide not from me, I pray thee, that I shall ask thee. And the woman said, let my lord the king now speak. And the king said, is not the hand of Joab with thee in all this? He found all that out. And the woman answered and said, as thy soul liveth, my lord, the king, none can turn to the right hand or to the left from aught that my lord the king hath spoken. For the servant of Joab, he bade me, and he put all these words in the mouth of thy handmaid, to fetch about this form of speech. To fetch about this form of speech. See, she don't even talk like that. He had put this in my mouth to talk like that. I don't talk like this. This form of speech. You see that? Fetch about this form of speech. Have thy servant Joab done this thing? And my Lord is wise concerning to the wisdom of an angel of Yah, to know all things that are in the earth. 21. And the king said unto Joab, behold, now I have done this thing. Go therefore bring the young man Absalom again. So what he's saying is, okay, Joab, I see what I've done now. Go get him. Okay, now he come to a conclusion. Now he said, and the king said unto Joab, behold, now I have done this thing. Go therefore, bring the young man Absalom again. And Joab fell to the ground on his face and bowed himself and thanked the king. And Joab said, today thy servant knoweth that I have found grace in thy sight, my lord, O king, in that the king has fulfilled the request of his servant. Meaning, you fulfilled the request that I wanted you to do, but I had to have somebody come and do it, to bring to you to do it. 23. So Joab arose and went to Geshur and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. And the king said, let him turn to his own house and let him not see my face. So Absalom returned to his own house and saw not the king's face. You see that? He told him he longed for him, but look at the situation. He longed for him for 2 years. Wasn't it 2 years? In the spirit of, he was there 3 years. That's the end of 13 in the 38th verse. And Absalom fled and went to Geshur and was there 3 years. He was there 3 years. Let me make sure we get that. But the whole thing is, all that time while he was gone, David was mourning. Now, let me ask y'all something. Y'all know when the Creator whooped you, he whooped you for a minute, right? David was mourning for 3 years because of the situation. 2 years, that's 5 years. 2 years, Absalom planned the situation, had them come for a feast, killed the one who he was killing, who he was going after. Then he left and fled, and he stayed there for 3 years. David mourning for 3 years. Now Joab see what's going on, man. Man, the kingdom is separating. You on your son, and everything else is falling apart. You ain't holding things together as the king, because you worried about your son. Isn't that what people do today in many different ways? They let everything go about one of their children. And I'm not saying if Absalom was a bad boy. I don't think he was bad, because you never heard nothing up until this point, until his sister got raped by his brother. You ain't heard nothing until up to that point, because this is the start of that situation. So before we go, does anybody want to share anything on this information before we go to part 2? I'm surprised my brother Kaz ain't got nothing to say. So other than that, we go ahead and pause part 1 and get ready to head to part 2, since we just know and have an understanding of what happened at this point. So other than that, I just want to share with you that I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who we're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead beds, which is really in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm that same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwells, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, cause the horn is blown without a doubt. This is prophesied for you to see that Mikael is really me. Other than that, I'd like to thank everybody for your time, your patience, your listening ear, your seeing eye. We're going to pause Zoom since we're the longest. We're going to pause you Zoom, and we'll be right back with Joanne, Beverly, and my other sister. I want to make sure I get the name right, though. Lelania. I hope I said that right. Other than that, we'll be right back with part 2. See you in a few moments, Zoom. And peace. All righty. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Greetings, everybody, on this beautiful Shabbat, beautiful Sabbath day. Today is December 6, 2025. December 6, 2025. And this is Assembly of the Righteous. This is part 2 we're on right now with the return of Absalom. The return of Absalom. Excuse me, y'all. So yeah, we're in part 2 of Return of Absalom. In part 1, which is 2 Samuel chapter 14, we started off with Joab. Joab, he perceived that King David was sad, as I was sharing at the end of part 1. He perceived that King David was sad because Absalom had fled and left, and he was gone 3 years from his household. He fled the city because he killed his brother Amnon for raping his sister Tamar. Make sure I say it correctly. Tamar, yep, Tamar. for Amnon for Amnon for raping his sister, which is his brother. That was his sister. He raped because he was infatuated with her. But all this was because of the sin of David, and this was the beginning. If you look at it, I like to break it down to show the reason why. But if you look at it, this was the beginning of the punishment of his prophecy, which was I shared last week, or the week before last, that is. Last week is the prophecy of his punishment was 2 weeks ago. Last week was the beginning by the defiling of Tamara, Tamara, Tama, Tamara. So right now, where we at? We're picking up back off of we're back in Second Samuel chapter 14. Excuse me, y'all. We're at Second Samuel chapter 14, and what happened in part one, what Joab did was he went and got a wise woman out from Tekoa. Tekoa, it sounds like a native name, doesn't it? Tekoa. That's why I said it a couple of times at the time. Tekoa sounds like a native name of this land. And she was a wise woman. They don't say smart, they say wise at that time. Wise woman. And he took her and he talked to her certainly, put words in her mouth and told her what to say to David. And her and David had a conversation. Then David picked up on it. The way he did it. He said, verse 18, in 2 Samuel 14:18, he said, Then the king answered and said unto the woman, Hide not from me, I pray thee, the thing which I shall ask thee. And the woman said, Let my lord the king now speak. Verse 19 said, and the king said, Is not the hand of Joab with thee in all this? And the woman answered and said, As thy soul liveth, my lord the king, none can turn to the right hand or to the left from aught that my lord the king has spoken. For thy servant Joab, he bade me, and he put all these words in the mouth of thine handmaid. To fetch about this form of speech, have thy servant Joab done this thing. And my Lord is wise according to the wisdom of an angel of Yah, to know all things that are in the earth. So he knew that. Then I might well bring it on down to Joab. And the king said unto Joab, Behold, now I have done this thing. Go therefore, bring the young man Absalom again. Go bring him back. Now he told him to go bring him back. Why? Because David missed him. I'm going to say missed him. I'm going to say David was at fault. Because why? I'm going to show you why he was at fault. And Joab fell to the ground on his face and bowed himself to thank the king. And Joab said, Today thy servant knoweth that I have found grace in thy sight. Today thy servant knoweth that I have found grace in thy sight, my lord, O king, in that the king has fulfilled the request of his servant, meaning he wants to go and get him because he see how you crying or laying down. So yeah, Joab rose and went to Geshur and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. And the king said, Let him not. Here you go. King is upset, but he knows his fault. The king said, Let him, and the king said, Let him return to his own house and let him not see my face. So Absalom returned to his own house and saw not the king's face. You see that? Now, he could have fixed everything up, but he couldn't because he was already knowing what was going on. It was his fault that happened, but he know according to prophecy that happened. Now, Absalom returns to David's court, right? But in all Israel, there was not, okay, bam, here we go. This is the rise of Absalom, as we can about to see. Verse 25. Absalom returned to David's court. And the king said, let him turn to his own house and let him not see my face. So Absalom returned to his own house and saw not the king's face. 25. But in all Israel, there was none to be so much praised as Absalom. Y'all see that? That's probably why David longed for him, because he knew he might have already been the way that he was. But in all Israel, there was none to be so much praised as Absalom for his beauty, So he was handsome. That's why David probably cared about him. My handsome son. From the sole of his foot even to the crown of his head, there was no blemish in him. All right. And when he pulled his head, for it was at every year's end that he pulled it, because the hair was heavy on him, because the hair was heavy on him. Therefore he pulled it. I wonder what pull mean. Joanne, you know what pull mean? If you ain't sleep on me, baby. I can't pull up.
You said what, babe?
What does pole mean? Pete, are you reading with me?
Yeah, you said spoon?
Pole. And are you reading with me? Are you in the scriptures with me?
No, I'm not in scripture. No. What I'm listening. Yeah.
In verse 26, we have the word pole. Polled.
Polled.
What did that mean? Give me that in etymology, if you don't mind.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
He said Absalom's for his beauty, for the sole of his feet, even to the crown of his head, there was no blemish in him. So he was very handsome. He was nothing happened to him where he got scars on him or anything like that. So he was very handsome. And he had, it sounded like his hair was long.
Sorry to interrupt. I just snip out I missed that point. What verse you on?
We on 2 Samuel chapter 14. We at verse 25. Now, this is where we stopped at. We stopped at 24. We're starting at 25. We had 25 and 26. And
what was that question you were asking?
Huh?
What was that question you was asking?
I was asking about polled. Polled. Absalom polled his hair at the year's end every year.
Okay. Interesting.
And I want to know what the word poll means.
Did you say pulled or polled? It's the P-O-O-L?
P-O-L-L-E-D.
Oh, okay. You said P-O-O. Okay.
P-O-O-P-O-L-L or P-O-L-L-E-D. I know polled E-D means afterwards, but just P-O-L-L. Fix my fingernails up. P-O-L-L. Etymology, please. Absalom pulled his hair. I'm going to read this again while y'all looking. Verse 25. But in all Israel, there was none to be so much praised as Absalom for his beauty. From the sole of his foot, even to the crown of his head, there was no blemish in him. 26. And when he pulled his head, that is, for it was at every year's end that he pulled it, because the hair was very heavy on him. Therefore,
sorry to butt in. I think that actually means shaved.
Pulled means shaved. He shaved it every year.
I think that's what he shaved it.
Okay, yeah, both of you guys. I mean, why didn't you say it online, baby? Oh, okay. Thank you, baby. Pole means to cut.
Because it was too heavy. Because sometimes it's like you would do the sheep during the winter time. You keep it on, and in the summertime you take it off because it's kind of a heavy to carry around.
Pole means
So
to cut. My baby's laptop went off. She said it died.
Okay. Let me look it up in etymology. E-T-Y. Etymology. E-T-Y is.
So what it was, he cut it every year.
Yeah.
Pole means to cut. So every year he cut. So he said it got real heavy. So
do me a favor. Spell your one there again. Because it doesn't have it. I don't have it in mind.
Yeah,
that way.
P-O-L-L.
Uh-huh.
P-O-L-L-E-D or just P-O-L-L. What do you got?
Right. Polling place. No.
In 26, verse 26.
Yeah, I'm looking for the actual etymology.
But what if you in your Bible, what's in your second Samuel 14:26?
26 in mine, it says, and when he shaved his head,
okay, well,
and
what
it occurred
okay
at the end of every year that he would shave it.
Okay, good. I'm got the king. So what Bible are you looking in?
This is called the New World Translation.
Okay, all right. I see where you at. But you got it. It means shave. It just said pulled in
yeah.
Excuse me. Right here. So it means to shave. So it means it got very heavy. So he shaved it every year. The weight, okay, I'm 26 again. And when he shaved his head, might well say, for it was at every year's end that he would pull it, which is shave it, because the hair was heavy on his head. Therefore, he pulled, which is shave it. The weight, he weighed the hair of his head at 200 shekels. That's how much he used to weigh. Shekels. 200 shekels after the king's weight. 27. And unto Absalom there were born 3 sons, and 1 daughter, whose name was, and unto Absalom there were born 3 sons, and 1 daughter, whose name was Tamar. See, like he named her Tamar as well. She was a woman of fair countenance. So Absalom dwelt 2 full years in Jerusalem. Okay. Now he been 3 years he was gone. Now he back 2 years. And saw not the king's face. So now he made it back and he didn't see the king for 2 years. 29. Therefore Absalom sent for Joab to have sent him to the king. But he would not come to him. And when he sent again the second time, he would not come. So Joab wasn't coming to see him neither. He said, well, the king ain't seeing you. I don't want to see you. So he wanted to go and talk to him. Therefore, Absalom sent for Joab, sent to him to the king. I mean, he wanted Joab to send him to the king, but he would not come to him. And when he sent again the second time, he would not come. Therefore, he said unto his servant, see, Joab's field is near mine. See, Joab's field is near mine, and he has barley there. Go and set it on fire. And Absalom's servant set the field on fire. I bet he came then. Then Joab arose and came to Absalom unto his house, and said unto him, Wherefore have thy servant set my field on fire? You know how to catch people's attention when you want to catch somebody's attention, don't you? When you want to catch somebody's attention, you know how to go about doing it. You trying to call, listen, I called you 2 or 3 times. You ain't come. I had to get your attention. Then Joab arose and came to Absalom into his house, and said unto him, Wherefore have thy servants set my field on fire? And Absalom answered Joab, Behold, I sent unto thee, saying, Come hither, that I may send thee to the king, to say, Wherefore am I come from Geshur? It has been good for me to have been there, to be there still. Now, therefore, let me see the king's face, and if there be any iniquity in me, let him kill me. So Joab came to the king and told him, and when he had called for Absalom, he came to the king and bowed himself on his face and the ground before the king, and the king kissed Absalom. So he loved him. That's his son. Well, we're going to chill right here, even though we're only 17 minutes in, because I'm going to give me some rest. They got 15. 37, 17 minutes. I might can go through 15. Might go through 15, see what's happening here. All right. Well, I don't want to be here too long, but it might take me about an hour or something. I don't know. But just see what happens. Absalom revolts against David. Okay, bam. But first, let's see this. I like the way Absalom got what you call his attention. And the king kissed Absalom. He was glad to see him. He was there 2 years. And then came, you told me to come home. Y'all came and got me. You told me to come home. I've been here 2 years. I might well stay in Gershon. Why I'm back over here? Why y'all asked me to come home? The prodigal son. Don't that sound like the prodigal son, y'all? Don't that sound like the prodigal son?
Yes, does that.
You do, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 15. Might as well go through it. We'll see what happens. Absalom revolts against David. And it came to pass after this that Absalom prepared him chariots and horses and 50 men to run before him. And Absalom rose up early and stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so that when any man had a controversy, okay, I remember this. When any man had a controversy, came to the king, any man that had a controversy came to the king for judgment. Then Absalom called unto them and said, Of what city art thou? And he said, Thy servant is of one of the tribes of Israel, meaning from one of the cities. Then and Absalom said unto him, thy matters are good and right, but there is no man dispute of the king to hear thee. Dispute it. And Absalom said unto him, See, thy matters are good and right, but there is no man disputed of the king to hear thee. There's nobody of the disputed or might be beside probably, but it said disputed of the king near me to hear thee. For Absalom said, Moreover, oh, that I were made judge in the land. All right. And he putting himself in a position. And Absalom said unto him, And Absalom said, moreover, oh, that I was made judge in the land, that every man which have any suit or case might come unto me, and I would do him justice. And you see it say suit. Suit or cause. Might come unto me, that and I would judge, I would do him justice. And it was so that when any man came nigh to him to do him obstinance, because he was the king, he was a prince, can do obstinance, he put forth his hand and took him and kissed him. And on this matter did Absalom to all Israel that came to the king for judgment. So Absalom stole the hearts of the man of Israel. Right here. Because they was coming to the king, but Absalom cut them off, so they didn't come and see him. Absalom was already outside talking to him. He made himself a judge, so he started to speak to the people as they came through. And it came to pass after 40 years, that Absalom said unto the king, I pray thee, let me go and pay my vow which I have vowed unto Yah in Hebron. For thy servant vowed a vow while I abode in Gershon, in Syria. After it came back after 40 years, Gershon in Syria, saying, if Yah shall bring me again indeed to Jerusalem, then I will serve Yah. And the king said unto him, go in peace. So he arose and went to Hebron. And it came to pass after 40 years that Absalom said unto the king, after 40 years, that sounds kind of odd. Excuse me, y'all. After 40 years, get something. I'm getting another. That sounds kind of funny right now. So it depends on how this 40 years add up. Excuse me. Number 9. And the king said unto him, go in peace. So he arose and went into Hebron. Excuse me. Verse 10. But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, as soon as ye hear the sound of the trumpet, then ye shall say, Absalom reigneth in Hebron. What? Mm. 11. And with Absalom went 200 men out of Jerusalem that were called, and they went in their simplicity, and they knew not anything. So they just went not knowing what was going on. It was simple. They didn't know what was going on. They just decided to get up. Absalom pulled them together. And they knew not anything in their simplicity. Excuse me, y'all. Nose beginning to run for some odd reason. Then they shall say, then ye shall say, Absalom reigneth in Hebron. 11. And with Absalom went 200 men out of Jerusalem that were called, and they went in their simplicity, and they knew not anything. And Absalom sent for Ahithophel, 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 the Gileonite, David's counselor from his city, even from Gilead, while he offered sacrifices, and the conspiracy was strong, for the people increased continually with Absalom. After 40 years, he's sitting up there, he's building himself a name. He's building himself a name after 40 years, so he go to the king, tell him, okay, I got to go here. So now he's conspiring. And Absalom sent for Ahithophel, the Gileonite, whoever this is, David's counselor. This is David's counselor. From his seed, even from Gilead, while he offered sacrifices, and the conspiracy was strong, for the people increased continually with Absalom. David flees from Jerusalem. Okay. 13. And there came a messenger to David, saying, the hearts of the men of Israel are after Absalom. Okay. And there came a messenger to David, saying, the hearts of the men of Israel are after Absalom. And David said unto all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, arise and let us flee, for we shall not else escape from Absalom. Make speed to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly, and bring evil upon us, and smite the city with the edge of the sword. Okay, so now David already knows what's up. So all his servants with him at Jerusalem. Let's get up and get out of here. Make speed to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly and bring evil upon us. That's why when your creator say something, you better take heed. When the creator speaks, you got better listen. And this is the reason why we're supposed to listen to his voice in his word. My mother just, excuse me, everyone. Mucus running, y'all. 14, verse 15. 15. And the king's servant said unto the king, excuse me, y'all, for that. And the king's servant said unto the king, behold, thy servants are ready to do whatsoever my lord the king shall appoint. 16. And the king went forth, and all his household after him, And the king left 10 women. See that? And the king left 10 women, which were concubines. They still was his wives, but they were concubines to keep the house. Y'all keep the house, but we're going to leave. He took his wives with him, but 10 other women, which the concubines that he was laying with. Thy servant I do whatsoever my Lord King shall appoint. That's how you know you got loyal people. Thy servants are ready to do whatsoever my Lord the King shall appoint. And verse 16 again. And the king went forth and all his household after him. And the king left 10 women, which were concubines to keep the house. 17. And the king went forth and all the people after him and tarried in a, excuse me. And the king went forth and all the people after him and tarried in a place that was far off. They waited at a place that was far off. And all his servants passed on beside him, and all the Cherethites and all the Pelethites and all the Gittites, 600 men which came after him from Gath, passed on before the king. Then said the king to Ittai, the Gittite, wherefore, then the king said to Ittai, the Gittite, wherefore goest thou wherefore goest thou also with us? Wherefore goest thou also with us? Return to thy place and abide with the king, for thou art a stranger. Go to your place and return to thy place and abide with the king, for thou art a stranger, and also in an exile. You're also an exile. Whereas thou camest but yesterday, should I this day make thee go up and down with us? You just came here yesterday. I don't really know you, but shall I make you go up and down with us? You're a stranger unto us. That means know the people that's around you. See what I'm saying? Know the people that's around you because you never know who's a spy. See? Can't trust everybody. Can't trust everybody. Shall I this day make thee go up and down with us, seeing I go whether I may return? I go whether I may return thou. See whether I go. Let me go here back over 20. Whereas thou camest but yesterday, shall I this day make thee go up and down with us? Seeing I go whether I may, return thou and take back thy brethren. Mercy and truth be with thee. See that? So he's saying, y'all go ahead, y'all mercy and truth be with you. Return thou and take back thy brother. Go back where you come from. And if thou answered the king and said, as Yah liveth, and as my lord the king liveth, surely in what place my lord the king shall be, whether in death or life, even there also would thy servant be. So they respected him, and they knew his they knew of his fame of Yah. And David said to Ittai, go and pass over. And Ittai the Gittite passed over, and all his men, and all the little ones that were with him. And all the country wept with a loud voice, and all the people passed over, shall I say. The king also himself passed over the brook Kidron, and all the people passed over towards the way of the wilderness. And lo, Zadok. Zadok, Zadok. Zadok, Zadok. Also, and all the Levites were with him. And lo, Zadok, Zadok, and all the Levites were with him, bearing the ark of the covenant. See, they had the ark of the covenant. The priests, and there goes Zadok, you'll find in Exodus chapter 40, talks about his kin. Zadok is Zadok, bearing the ark of the covenant of Yah. And they set down the ark of Yah, and Abathar went up until all the people had done passing out of the city. Abathar. He was the head priest for quite some time. He's the one that escaped when Saul was killing all the priests of Yah. He said, "Kill the priests of Yah." I can't believe he said that. Like that too. But he's the only one that escaped at that time. Abathar. Verse 25. 2 Samuel 15:25. And the king said to Zadok, "Carry back the ark of Yah into the city, if I shall find favor." Carry back the ark of Yah into the city. If I should find favor in the eyes of Yah, he will bring me again and show me both it and his habitation. But if he say thus say, but if he does say, "I have no delight in thee, behold, here am I. Let him do to me as seemeth good to him." The king said also unto Zadok, the priest, art not thou a seer? Okay, hold on. Let me get all this. And the king said unto Zadok, all this right here is what he said. And the king said unto Zadok, carry back the ark of Yah into the city. If I shall find favor in the eyes of Yah, he will bring me again and show me both it and his habitation. His habitation is where they were. Understand, even though all the world is the creators, this is habitation. This is his resting place. 26. But if he does say, "I have no delight in thee," behold, here am I. Let him do to me that seemeth good unto him. Let me do with this. It's the other part. I have no delight in thee. Behold, here am I. Let him do to me that seemeth good. Because he already know the Creator was upset at him at one time, but he forgave him. But he forgave him, but you gonna get this punishment. That's the difference when people don't understand a punishment from being forgiven. You gonna still get a whooping from still being forgiven. Oh, I love you, but I'm still gonna whoop you. And how did you say, Cass? He chastised those he loved. So David getting a whooping. Right. Say again, bro.
I said that's right.
Yeah, he chastised those he loved. So if he don't chastise you and he just let you get out there and just get whooped any type of way, hey.
But we have the saying that it says you've been brought up or you've been dragged up. So being brought up is where you're gonna be taught, and if you step out of line, of course they're gonna put you in your place. But if you've just been dragged up, they're just gonna leave you, let you carry on and do whatever you want to do.
Right. There you go. Exactly. 27. The king said also to Zadok, the priest, art not thou a seer? Return into the city in peace, and your 2 sons with you, Ahamazaz thy son, and Jonathan. That was my son's name. Jonathan. Jonathan or Jonathan. That's what I'm calling it. Jonathan. Jonathan. That was the name of my son. My last son, at least. And Ahamaz. Ahamaz. Ahimaz. Ahamaz. Thy son. And Jonathan or Jonathan, the son of Abiathar. 28. See, I will tarry in the plain of the wilderness until there come word from you to clarify me. Zadok, therefore, and Abiathar, Zadok and Abiathar, therefore, and Abiathar carried the ark of Yah again to Jerusalem, and they tarried there. And they tarried there. Okay. 30. And David went up by the ancient of Mount Olives. The ancient accent, I'm saying ancient, but it's accent. And David went up by the accent of Mount Olives and wept as he went up and had his head covered. Yeah, he was shamed. He was shamed. That's what it was. He wept while he went up and he was shamed. That was shame. As he went up and had his head covered. Yep, that was in shame.
My version, he said he was weeping.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Said,
in ashamed.
Yeah, said he wept as he went up and had his head covered. That means that he was in shame. He was ashamed, wasn't you? When you feel like that, you walking with all those people and you crying and you got your head covered.
It's like these people, when they coming out of court for something that they've done wrong or going in, they got their heads and faces covered.
Yep. Hold on. Mucus coming. One thing I can say, a black seed oil ain't no joke. Black seed capsules.
Get it out.
They ain't no joke, boy. They clear you out. And David went up by the way, verse 30. And David went up by the way, by the ascent of Mount Olive, and wept as he went up, and his head covered, and he went barefoot. And all the people that was with him covered every man his head, and they went up weeping as they went up. He knew all that was going on, though. I'm gonna tell you, when the father whoop you and you know the father whooping you, it's an embarrassing point, and you understand it. "31. And one told David, saying, Apathiel is among the conspirators. Apathiel is among the conspirators with Absalom. I think I'm saying it right. And one told David, saying, Aphipothel, whatever the Aphipothel, whatever. Athithopphel. Athiophil. Is among the conspirators with Absalom. And David said, Oh, yeah, I pray thee, turn the counsel of Abiathar into foolishness. He prayed to him. Turn it into foolishness, because that was David's counselor. He turned from David, turned into foolishness. He prayed to the Creator to turn into foolishness. And it came to pass that when David was come to the top of the mount, there where he worshiped Yah, behold, Hushai, Hushai, the Archite, came to meet him with his coat rent and the earth upon his head. I remember this point right here too. This is how David, if David didn't know, this is how David gonna know. I remember this part. If David didn't know, or if he forgot, or the reason why that this was going on, he's about to get told right here. Let's see, who I want to put. And Hushai came to meet him with his coat rent and earth upon his head. (33) Unto whom David said, if thou passest on with me, then thou shalt be a burden unto me. Wait a minute, let me read this again. Got that coming. Verse 32. And it came to pass that when David was come to the top of the mount where he worshiped Yah, behold, Hushai the Archite came to meet him with his coat rent and earth upon his head. Unto whom David said, if thou passest on with me, then thou shalt be a burden unto me. Really? But if thou return to the city and say unto Absalom, I will be thy servant, O king. What? But if thou return to the city and say unto Absalom, I will be thy servant, O king, as I have been thy father's servant hitherto, so will I now also be thy servant. Then mayest thou for me defeat the counsel of Absalom. I got to understand what's going on here because it looked kind of twisted. Unto David said, if thou passest through. And one told David, saying, Absalom among the conspirators with Absalom. This is, I'm back at 31, I'm trying to understand what's happening. And one told David, saying, Apathiel, I'm just going to say Apathiel, is among the conspirators with Absalom. And David said, oh yeah, I pray thee, turn the counsel of Apathiel into foolishness. And it came to pass that when David was come to the top of the mount where he worshiped Yah, behold, Hushai, the Archite, came to meet him with his coat rent and earth upon his head. Unto whom David said, if thou pass on with me, then thou shalt be a burden unto me. But if thou return to the city, okay, he told them to go to the city and say unto Absalom, I will be thy servant, O king, as I have been thy father's servant hitherto, so will I now also be thy servant. Then mayest thou for me defeat the counsel of Absalom.
What I'm getting from that is that he's sending his servant there.
Right.
And the servant's going to plead to the son. but
Right.
he'll be there basically gathering information on David's behalf.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, kind of like a spy, I would say.
Yeah. Because he's trying to make Apathiel or whatever his name, counsel foolish, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm. Excuse me, y'all. I'm listening. I'm listening. That sound like about it because he had to send somebody to go and talk to make his counsel foolish.
Hmm.
Excuse me. So it says, verse 34, but if thou return to the city and say unto Absalom, I will be thy servant. So he's saying, they told him that if you go to, I will be thy servant, O king, as I have been thy father's servant, okay, which means
Right.
David's servant. I got you.
Yeah, so he doesn't get, well, bust up, as you would say. It's like you're sucking up to.
Right.
Mm,
What he's saying is, I'll be your servant like I was David's servant.
right.
So Apathiel, whoever his name is, because David know that he's the wise counselman. So he said, make his counsel foolish.
Hmm.
So he's saying, well, I'll be your servant. So he says, as I have been thy father's servant hitherto, so will I now also be thy servant. Then mayest thou for me defeat the okay. Then mayest thou for me defeat the council of Apple. There you go, right there.
Hmm.
There you go. That's how he beat the council of Applefield, whatever his name is. Let me see how I get that. I got to put that together correctly. Well, now I guess I'll get a chance to use Mother Sharpies. Got to beat out that council.
Reminds me of,
Say again, bro.
I said it reminds me of what's going on over here
Talk to me.
with the so-called royal family. So David messed up, brought down the fire on his whole family, create a mess. So here we got the mother has been brutalizing people for years, over 70 years, and she gone out of the way, put the son in charge. But along with all that, all the stuff was coming out, all the evil was coming out. The people love this person so much that they line the street for days in the cold just to watch the funeral procession.
Really?
And now they're finding out that they weren't as forthright or up. What's the word? Basically, not as good as they thought they were. So it's basically crumbling now. I don't know if you get the same news sometimes over there, but you got Andrew, who is the associate of the pedophiles ring setup. So that blew everything out of the way. They used to have a street name after him. The people want it removed, give it a different name. Yeah, so once you mess up, you know, there's no coming back in that sense.
Yeah, yeah, man. So that's actually happened over there?
Oh yeah, it's happening. That's why what's his name? Young Will Harry.
Yeah. King
He run
Harry.
off, he come over there with Megan,
Right, right. I remember
break
that.
away
Yeah.
from it. Break away from it.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, it's messed up. It's crumbling. Because old Hendo told him, do not sit on that throne. If you do, you will not last very long.
Oh, Hindu told him that?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
And in no time, he said he's got prostate cancer.
Who?
Charlie Boy. No, Charlie Boy, the king, supposedly king.
Oh, really?
Now, that is not something that is heard in those sideline, those people, because they've got their medical people who stringently monitor all their going ons, you know. So we know that's not true. It's something else that they don't want to say. So that's one of the easiest way to fool the public.
Mm.
You know, just like when somebody do something, but they find some kind of a sex something to bring them down.
Right.
Yeah.
A conspiracy.
There you go. There you go.
Right.
You got no prostate problem. That's rubbish.
Just saying that in order to try to step down because of what Hindo told him.
Yeah, because the whole royal thing is never gonna happen again. He told them. It's it. It's over. He brutalized the people for over 70 years.
Longer than that, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, the mother, she didn't actually, well, from my understanding, go out and use a sword or a gun and go boom, but she gave the orders. The men who were working for you, you know?
Hillary Clinton would have been just as bad.
Yeah.
Also, Kamala over here.
Mhm.
But let's go ahead on into 35, verse 35. Then, make sure I get this. Defeat the council. That's it. But you're right, though. You had me right on that one. So that's what happened. Verse 35. And hast thou not there with the Zadok, and Abathar, the priest? Therefore it shall be that what things soever thou shalt hear out of the king's house, thou shalt tell it to Zadok and Abathar the priest. So he's saying, whatever you hear, you're going to tell it to them too. Tell it to them, and they loyal. Behold, they have there with them their two sons, Amazah, Ahimazah, Amazah, Zadok's son, and Jonathan, Abathar's son. Okay. Okay. And by them ye shall send to me everything that they can hear. So they're using the sons as the messenger bearers. They're using Zadok and Abathar, the priest, to be well, actually,
It's like
what who shy,
infiltrating,
huh?
like infiltrating the
Yeah,
situation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hushai is going to be the counselor. The counselor is going to let Zadok and what's their name? Zadok and nope. Yeah, Zadok and Jonathan. Wait, hold on, make sure I got these names right. Because Zadok and Abathar. That's right. Zadok and Abathar, they're going to be the ones that's going to be priests. So he's going to tell it to them. They're going to tell it to their sons, and their sons going to go back and tell David
Right.
what's going on. And by them ye shall send unto me everything that ye can hear. And Hushai, David's friend, came unto the city, and Absalom came into Jerusalem. So Hushai, David's friend, he was going to be the counselor, to bow himself and be the counselor for him. And Absalom came to Jerusalem. All right, shoot. I guess we finished with this for this week.
He's still playing these games, though, isn't he?
Huh?
I said that he's still playing these games, so he'll infiltrate the court to get the information.
Yeah. But he did that because this still because of war, because the creator said that and David know, but that wasn't the point that I was thinking. I thought that was this guy was gonna come back and he's gonna start cussing at David and stuff like that. I thought that was it, but that wasn't that point. It was a guy that's gonna be cussing David out, talking to him and throwing rocks at him and stuff like that, but we haven't gotten to that point yet. And all that is because of David messed around and he slept with a woman, got her pregnant, and killed her husband. All this right here has happened because of that. That one incident. And even though that one incident, that's strong. That's one of the highest. Think about it. You taking another man's life, that's one of the highest things you can do. As far as I'm concerned, in the eyesight of the creator, you take another man's life. Excuse me.
A lot of confusion there as well, that people, it does say that he was a man of God's own heart.
I mean, he was. It's just that he made a mistake
And
by letting lust take over his mind.
right, but I think what that is, he actually repent thoroughly.
There you go.
I feel terribly dreadful for what he's done. Whereas, like you see some people get sentenced and they just have that smirk on their face, no remorse about what they've done, So this is also where the redemption, is that a redemption, what they call it? That the court is set up here now for those people who are willing to step back,
take a plea deal.
Yeah, and give up some of the names of the people who put them up to what they've done.
Right.
They get a lighter sentence and life they can live later on.
Oh, baby.
Mm.
Thank you, sweetie. The baby brought me some drink.
But hey, it's gone.
It was chilly, baby. I just cut it off.
You did?
I just cut it off, yeah.
Give me a second, please.
Thank you, baby. Is it charged up?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually we done. Yeah, we just got done. We just did chapter 15. Next week we're gonna go into 16. Yeah, we're going to 16. This one, Absalom, is going into the stories, getting into the story, really getting an understanding of everything and how things is happening the way they did as well.
Right.
And Cass was just giving his point of view on it as well.
Oh, okay. Hey, brother Cass.
He might have stepped away.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. Got some clothes in here.
Yeah, I got some cloves and some cinnamon. That lemon ginger tea.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta let it steep a little bit. Because I didn't boil that. That's for me.
Right. Yeah, so yeah, but we see what happens and what's happening. So it's still time of war. Still time of war, but the creator is allowing these things to happen, but the creator said David is king, but he's still punishing him through the things that he did. Because he made a promise to David too. See, the creator can't go on it. See, I'm looking at it. Creator ain't gonna go back on his promise. He made a promise to David back in, what was that? chapter 7, was it? What that promise he made to David at? I think it was in chapter 7 or what? He made a promise to David. Well, I'm trying to get exactly where that promise is at. Probably right. I probably ran right past it. Yah's covenant. Yeah, right here, Daniel chapter 7, 2 Samuel 7. When he made a promise to David. So he made a promise to David back here. So he wasn't going, he said right here at 11, Yah's covenant and David's prayer. But his covenant is from 11, is 10 through 17. David's prayer is from 18 to 29, 18 to 29. That's David's prayer. But the covenant that Creator said, and this is how come, this is why you got to understand when the Creator says something, he means what he says. So even though he told David, he forgave David, even though he did what even though he said, I'm gonna whoop you, and you're gonna be having situation with your family from here on out. Right here, 2 Samuel 7 and 10, it says, Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel and will plant them that they may dwell in peace. Because this one, David wanted to make a house for him. He thought about making a house. He didn't say it, but he thought about it. He said he would dwell in tents and I'm in a house. And he spoke on it. And then that's when Nathan came and gave him the prophecy on it. And this is when all this information came about. And this is Yah's covenant through Nathan talking to David. And it says, in the place place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall the children of the wickedness afflict them anymore as before time. And as since the time that I command judges to be over my people Israel, this is 11, 2 Samuel 7 and 11. And since that the time that I commanded judges to be over my people Israel, and have caused thee to rest from all thine enemies, also Yah telleth thee that he will make thee a house. Telleth thee that he will make thee a house. And when thy days be fulfilled, see right here, verse 12. And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels, and I will establish his kingdom, this which is Solomon. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men. Now, right there, David probably didn't know who it was at this point. It could have been Absalom. He don't know. It could have been Absalom at this time. He just said it's going to come out your bowels, and I will establish his kingdom. He shall build a house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, and he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of men, and with the stripes of the children of men. But my mercy shall not depart away from him, as I took it away from Saul, whom I put away from before thee. And thine house and thine kingdom shall be established. See, and thine house and thine kingdom shall be established forever. Before these, but he said after he passed, that's your key. And here he said, he shall build a house for me in name, and I will establish thee throne his kingdom forever. I will be his father. Verse 12. And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels. You see that? He ain't dead. He ain't gone. So, but he also knew that the Creator said from this point on, you're gonna have what did it say over in 10? What did it say over here in is it 12:10 or 13:10? No, 12:20. Then David rose from the earth and not there. That's one key. That's not the key I'm talking about though. Nope. It's 13, 14. Not them. That's when he got up from fasting. I just got to reading it from here. What am I looking for? When my mind is on something right now. Nope. I forgot where my mind is at. My mind was on something. I'm just thinking. Abner, no, King of Israel. That should be Captain of Israel. No. Isaiah. That was Isaiah. No, we're not talking about that point. I don't know. It was my mind was just on something. I don't know why. And the Lord preserved David whitherso he went. And David reigned over all Israel, and David executed judgment and justice unto all the people. Nope, but that's not what I'm talking about. It's something I was just thinking about to come back, and now it just slipped my mind, whatever it was I was thinking on. I can't even think of what it was. It was something I was thinking on. And like the whole thought just vanished.
Yeah. Happens.
You there, bro? You back?
Yeah. So, look up Miss B.
Can't remember what it was. Whatever it was, it came and gone. But I think we are talking about something about you saying something about being righteous in the way. That's what it was. You saying about being righteous, David.
Oh yeah, yeah. That he was man of God's own heart.
Right. That's what I was going to. I was looking right at it, but it slipped my whole mind about the. I came right to it, and what it
Mhm.
was after the baby passed. Even though David was had did all he did, killed Uriah and stuff like that, and got beside himself. That's why when people say, I always tell people, David was a murderer. David was a murderer. He was a murderer. He wasn't no murderer. He murdered someone or did kill somebody one time. So it's not a murderer. He just killed someone. He had someone murdered, but he wasn't a murderer. A murderer when you continue to do something. So he did have someone killed, right? And he committed adultery. So all these things he did to me was like at the highest degree, far as I'm concerned, according to the law. But over here, this is something that a lot of people don't say. When David he was praying to the Creator because he knew it was his fault that the child came and the Creator said he was going to die. The Creator said that David fast for him, he fast 7 days. Excuse me. Didn't eat none of anything. But over here, what happened? Even after the seventh day, after his fasting, he didn't get up and say, okay, I'm just going to go eat like a lot of people say. This is what I never really heard no other people say it till I read it, and I like to explain it. And over here in the 2 Samuel 12 and 20, it says, Then arose David from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of the Lord and came into the house of Yah and worshiped. Then he came to his own house and went, and when he required, they set bread before him and he did eat. So even after the 7 days he was on the fast and stuff like that, and he was really trying to ask the Creator to bring his son back that him and Bathsheba had, he fasted, didn't eat for 7 days. Next thing you know, he perceived that he perceived when they was talking about it. He said, okay, he think the child passed. He got up, washed himself, anointed himself, went to the place of worship, still hadn't ate. And I believe when you go to place of worship, he asked for forgiveness. He asked the Creator to forgive him. He's sorry, and he didn't mean, whatever happened, he asked the Creator to forgive him. Then he went home and then he ate. He didn't just get up and go eat after he fasted. And I don't hear no one else speaking on that. I don't hear no one else speaking on that.
As they say that you'll do 99 good and you do one bad and it outweighs everything else.
Yep. That's the scripture.
Because here is it, the thought here is that there's a comparison between him and Saul, is that Saul was, how can I say, what he did, he didn't
Saul wasn't
repent.
repentative.
He didn't repent.
There you go. He wouldn't repent.
Here's David, and he continued to seek God's face, as they would say, continuously throughout all that time.
And when you read the story, you can see and tell David. When David come into the picture, who is this Philistine that defied the army of Yah, God, however you want to say it? He come in talking about the Creator, and you could tell it from the beginning, straight from the beginning. He come in talking about the Creator compared to Saul. Saul always talking about I, me, I, just like Jesus in the New Testament.
Yeah, it's like there's a thing I'm looking at here. He says obedience and faith. He consistently sought to obey God's will and show bold trust even against Goliath.
Yep. That's the whole point. See, that's what I did when I went to courts. Same way. I had the Creator in me. I knew Creator. I went with the Creator in my mind, knowing what I know, have the Creator. That's why I tell people. A lot of people don't know that this is spiritual. They don't understand. They have to talk, and that's all this spiritual. People really need to understand the situation at hand.
Yep.
Yep. So the more we get into this and really see, the more we build and understand what the Creator have and want for us. Yeah, buddy. So I guess we'll call it a day. This is the end of 2 Samuel chapter 15. Next week we're going to 16. This is where we at. Oh, shoot. And other than that, I would just like to say, I am that Mikael in Daniel chapter 12, verses 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's me. Showing the holy people who they're really supposed to be. Waking them out of their dead bed, which is really, in their heads. For all of you who's living in the new, this is for you. I'm that same Mikael in Revelations 12, battling that red dragon where Satan dwelled, who deceiveth the whole world but prevaileth not, cause the horn is blown without a doubt. This prophesies for you to see that Mikael is really me. And what I'm ready to do now, I'm ready to smile way out, but before the smile, we're going to do the benediction. and get ready for another beautiful rest of the Sabbath. So right now, I'd just like to say, we're in Numbers chapter 6, verse 22 through 27, and it states, this is the priestly benediction. And Yah spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto Aaron and unto his son, saying, on this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, Yah bless thee and keep thee. Yah make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. Yah lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And they shall put Yah's name upon them, upon the children of Israel, which is his law, and Yah will bless them. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shegevo, Vakuto V'olam, Va'ed, Hallelujah. Hear, O Israel, Yah our Father is one Father. Blessed be thy glorious kingdom forever and ever. Hallelujah. Praise you, Father. Thank you for the word. Thank you for your spirit. Thank you for your knowledge. We praise you, bless you, and thank you for all you've done, been doing, the plan to do. Praise you. Thank you. In the only word we pray. Hallelujah. 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 Praise you. Appreciate you there, Brother Cass.
All is
And
good.
other than that, like to say thank everyone for coming through that came through. Like thank Cass and my baby Joanne for being on before computer went off. And Lilia. Is that my correct?
Lilania.
Lilanya. Lilonya. Lilonya, right?
That'll do, I think.
Lilonya.
Yeah.
Lilonya. I'm just kind of picturing my mind. Lewawnya.
See, Lei.
Oh, Lilonya.
Mm-hmm.
Lei. Yeah, but I just saying Lee in my mind. I'm just
To get the Lee in.
yeah, Lilonya. I got you. But Lei still. Lilonya. Glad she came through while she was here for part one. But other than that, should I thank everybody for coming, coming and keeping the creative Sabbath, or we keep the Sabbath by the Sabbath day. The Sabbath come to us. Some people, you going to the Sabbath? No, you can't go to the Sabbath. The Sabbath come to you each week. A lot of people used to say, you going to the Sabbath. Can't go to the Sabbath. The Sabbath come to you. You can keep the Sabbath. You can keep the convocation convocation. Come to the convocation like that. But the Sabbath comes to you every week, which is the seventh day. But other than that, I'd like to thank everybody for coming, everybody for being here. We're going through the scriptures every week. We start off around 12 o'clock. Sometime I get here a little late. I got here late today. Taking care of some other things before I got in, with around the house. In the house, that is. But other than that, I'd like to ask everyone, if you'd like to get in contact with me, please give me a call at 770-572-5315. That's 770-572-5315. You can also email me at lkhyym@gmail.com. That's lkhyym at, gmail.com. I had to stretch that out real quick. And if you'd like to get in contact with me on platforms, if you'd like to look at part one and part two. Part one and part two is on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. That's Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. The YouTube is Juice Pro 33, and it's under the live video. That's live, which is part one and part two, under live, video and in my YouTube page. And again, that's Juice Pro 33, which is spelled Juice Pro 33. Again, that's Juice Pro 33. And we also have part 1 and part 2 in Instagram. That's Instagram. You can put in the search engine on Instagram, LKHYYM_THEJUICE. Again, that's LKHYYM_THEJUICE. All right. That's Instagram. And on Facebook, part 1 and part 2. On Facebook, part 1 and part 2, we're on Mikael Harris. There's MI'(CHAEL) space HARRIS. That's MI'(CHAEL) space HARRIS. Excuse me. So those are part 1 and part 2. Now, if you want to look at the full video from Zoom, the full video is on YouTube again as well, which is Juice Pro 33. That's JUICE PRO 33 under video this time. The full version is under video. Part 1, part 2 is under YouTube Live, under Juice Pro 33. But like I said, this is under the full video now, JUICE PRO 33, which is the full version from Zoom. Also, we have the full version on X, formerly known as Twitter. There's X, formerly known as Twitter, and there's LKHYYM_THEJUICE. X, formerly known as Twitter, again, JUICE PRO 33. I'm sorry. That's X, formerly known as Twitter, is Juice Pro 33. JUICE PRO 33 altogether. Now on Patreon.com. We have Patreon.com/LKHYYM. Patreon.com/LKHYYM. Also, we're on Rumble.com with the full video. Rumble.com/LKHYYM. That's Rumble.com/LKHYYM. And on the TikTok. We're on TikTok at same as Instagram, which is @ in the search engine and LKHYYM_THEJUICE. That's the _juice, the juice again, @ in the search engine. And you also add with that LKHYYM_THEJUICE. All right. Now, last but not least, we have Mikael the Juice Harris, Michael the Juice Harris. On my other TikTok, which you put in the search engine, @ MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRIS. That's @ MICHAELTHEJUICEHARRIS. All right. We have those done for all the platforms. Now, if you want to get on the Zoom, if you want to come on Zoom, we're on the night after Sunday at 9 p.m., which is Fight Fire with Truth, which is open conversation, the night after Sunday at 9 p.m. And we're here at that time, Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern. And we're here on Monday nights after Monday nights, which is at 9 p.m., which is Mikael's Knowledge of Truth. That's Mikael's Knowledge of Truth on the night after Monday at 9 p.m. At 9 p.m. Eastern. Now, on Tuesdays, we're here on Zoom only. This is Introduction to excuse me, introduction to Sovereign Class of Knowledge. This introduction to Sovereign Class of Knowledge, and we're here on Instagram. I'm sorry. We're here on Zoom at that time, and on Zoom only. We're not broadcasting that live. We're just doing that right now until we get a safe place where we can play all that private. But it is being recorded, and we're here on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. At 6 p.m. Eastern. Last but not least, we right here on the Sabbath at 12 p.m. noon. Right here on the Sabbath, 12 p.m. noon, which is the beginning of the evening and the end of the morning at noonday on the Sabbath, 12 o'clock Eastern time. Other than that, y'all excuse me, I'm getting tired. I always get back there around this time. But I thank y'all for y'all time, your patience, your listening ear, your seeing eye. What we're gonna do, we're gonna pause Zoom since you've been on the longest, part 1 and part 2. We'll be right back with you. Love you, appreciate love you, and always. Peace.